A young man is walking through the Sahara Desert, desperate for water, when he sees something far in the distance. He walks towards the image, only to find a little old man sitting behind a table with a bunch of neckties laid out on it. "I'm dying of thirst," the young man says. "Can I please have some water?" And the old man replies, "I don't have any water, but why don't you buy a tie?" The young man shouts, "I don't want a tie, you idiot! I need water!" Okay, don't buy a tie. But to show you what a nice guy I am, I'll tell you that over that hill right there, about 4 miles, is a nice restaurant. Walk that way, they'll give you all the water you want. The young man thanks him and walks towards the hill. 3 hours later, he comes crawling back to the old man sitting behind his table. The old man asks, "Couldn't you find the restaurant?" The young man rasps, "I found the restaurant all right. They wouldn't let me in without a tie." Now, let's take a journey from a fictitious version of the Sahara Desert to an all-too-real issue that's hitting us right in our homes, or right in front of our homes, if you will. Just like the young man, millions upon millions of Americans aren't getting the water they need to stay alive. Just like the young man, the main thing holding them back is pointless old practice. But unlike the young man, it's not because of a lack of ties. It's because we're tied to lawns. You see, many cities and homeowners associations across the nation require homeowners to maintain a well-manicured grass lawn in front of their homes. Nowadays, the average lawn covers a full third of an acre, according to researchers at UC Berkeley. And these lawns account for 50 to 70% of residential water consumption at a time where saving water means saving lives. So to fully address this issue, first we will untie the knots of bureaucracy and reveal the history of lawns. Next, we'll analyze how we've been strangled by modern-day policies. Finally, we'll try on some stylish new legislation so that we can hang up these problem ties out of our way for good. Manicured grass lawns first emerged in 17th century England. They became a status symbol since lots of workers were required to tend to the lawns. The development of the lawnmower in 1830 kick-started the mass production of lawns. Weed-free grass seeds, fertilizers combined with herbicides, and mechanical spreaders made lawn installation very easy, giving rise to the modern-day lawn. Currently, according to the EPA's National Home and Garden Pesticide Use Survey, over 80% of all U.S. homes have lawns. Even some of the most impoverished communities have lawns in front of their homes. Now that we've seen how culturally tied we are to lawns, let's imagine what happens when one makes a habit of excessively tightening their tie. Picture it: the gasping, the wheezing, the choking. It's just not safe, and neither are lawns. To begin, lawns are pumping poison into our neighborhoods. Every year, 70 million tons of pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, and fertilizers are used on lawns, according to the Green Energy Times. Not only does this affect nature by allowing large amounts of chemicals to seep into groundwater, streams, and rivers, but it also kills 7 million birds every year. These lawn care chemicals even make their way into our homes, lodging themselves in carpets and clothing. Cancer, lymphoma, birth defects, death. These are all directly linked to the pesticides poured into our lawns, according to an article published by Scientific American. 14. What does that number mean to you? That's how many dollars are wasted every single day on the average third of an acre lawn. And it all adds up. Bloomberg magazine reports that the average lawn mowing American spends over $7,000 a year on their lawns. That's $5,000 for water and $2,000 more for pesticides, herbicides, fertilizer, and fuel. Lawns don't make dollars and they don't make sense. But sometimes it's not all about the money, money, money. Lawns are draining our water resources. 9,046. How about that number? That's how many gallons of water are wasted every single day on the average 30-acre lawn. Your standard sprinkler uses more water in 1 hour than 10 toilet flushes, 2 dishwasher loads, a 10-minute shower, and a full load of laundry combined. It's no mystery why lawns not only account for 80% of residential water use during the summer, but also use more water than the 8 largest irrigated crops in America combined, according to New York University. And what are we wasting this water to preserve when nearly a third of the country is under persistent drought? Every year, over 250,000 Americans are seriously injured in lawnmower accidents, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. Many of them children. Nearly a third of these injuries result in an amputation. We shouldn't be losing our limbs for lawns. It is time to cut this tie. Now, you might be wondering, if we get rid of lawns, what do we replace them with? Let's make like Doc Brown from Back to the Future and journey back to a time before money-grubbing landscapers brought lawns into the mainstream. We did something that's both economically and environmentally smart. We grew vegetable gardens. Nat Zappia of Whittier College reports that just by spending $100 a year to maintain such a garden, one can save a minimum of $200 a year on food. By planting drought-resistant vegetables, such as mustard greens, Roma tomatoes, beans, and peppers, we can further reduce our water consumption. Front yard gardens are a very safe and healthy way to grow nutritious food, especially because there's no need for pesticides, herbicides, and chemical fertilizers. Not only are we helping ourselves, but we are also supporting pollinators and enhancing biodiversity. So, as long as we're set on spraying water in front of our homes, why not make more money, find more food, and move past the idea of mowing all the time while we're at it? Surprise! Shock. Confusion. This was the reaction of Julie Bass, a mother of 6 and a former varsity debate captain from Oak Park, Michigan, when she was charged for growing vegetables in her front yard. Even though Oak Park didn't specify that vegetable gardens weren't allowed, they charged Mrs. Bass under the pretense that it quote-unquote wasn't suitable live plant material. When I personally talked to her, she told me how her children were traumatized after learning that she could spend up to 93 days in jail for this so-called offense. Across the nation, homeowners just like Mrs. Bass are being charged for growing vegetable gardens in their front yards. Therefore, I strongly advocate a 3-part legislation called the TIE, T-I-E Act in U.S. Congress. First, the T, tax. The EPA shall impose an additional 5% sales tax on all lawn seeds, lawn fertilizers, lawn herbicides, and lawn mowers. The funds obtained from this tax shall be used to provide a one-time tax deduction for each property owner who converts their lawn to a vegetable garden. Second, the I, illegalize. We will make it illegal for any state, district, or organization to require that a residential property have a lawn. This will override all existing rules imposed by homeowners associations. Finally, the E, exchange. All current laws and rules limiting front yard gardens will be repealed, and vegetable gardens will be fully legal to be grown in every front yard. Furthermore, all new home buyers must be offered the option of a vegetable garden by the builder they're also offered the option of a lawn. Today, we've untied our knotted history with lawns. We've seen how they're just not a good fit and discussed the problems. Finally, we've tried on some meaningful legislation and seen the solutions. Folks, it is time to stop wasting water. It is time to take off the ties of tradition. It is time to finally let our gardens grow. Thank you.